their hair like that? Who was it? Wait. There you go.
It's recorded. It's clipped. Hopefully.
All right.
Hopefully.
Let me make a few announcements real quick because yeah, we should get started. First of all, again, I want to shout out the Philosophy Club officers, Dallas College Philosophy Club officers. Outstanding performance during today's Phi Theta Kappa collaborative event. Again, it's an honor to be part of the 6-week student success that you Joe are launching there at PTK. And the fact that the Philosophy Club was the very first participant in this 6-week thing is pretty cool. So I appreciated how well y'all performed up there. I mean, you learned these philosophers, you wrote it down. I was impressed. I was proud. So good job, guys.
Making the philosophy didn't finish it this morning. Yeah, we totally didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who cares when you finish it? The other thing,
Never invited to it.
I haven't gotten in touch with her, but the other announcement I need to make is this too. Unfortunately, and I say this because there are a few students in here, and certainly many who are part of this team that were enrolled in my study abroad. But it's official today that the study abroad has been canceled. So we were supposed to go my ethics and existentialism class. We're going to go to Munich. We're going to go to Germany. We're going to go to France. We're going to go to Italy. All these cool places. This is the second year it's been postponed. We were supposed to go last May. Now we're not going this May. So hopefully May 2022. So I want to make sure I made that announcement. Again, it came down to me today. And yeah, having said that, yeah, like I said, just continue to look out for us on social media. And again, we're posting pretty regularly nowadays, especially on the Instagram. That's where you want to see, what we have going on. So, yeah, I guess without further ado, I'll turn it over to the officers, Orlando, Yusha, and Fernando.
Thank you. All right, so that's the official theme song for Philosophy Club. That means that we are on the go. The red is on, so we can start our meeting for today. So thank you so much for coming on. Today we're starting a new monthly theme, which is metaphysics, if I'm not mistaken. Luckily, I have the good memory to remember at least that portion of this meeting. And I'm not completely sure since Orlando was the one who proposed the meeting and the topic. I believe you should be more appropriate to actually kick off this meeting. Just
Yes. So the topic for today's meeting is memories. And the reason, we kind of started with memories is kind of a way to ease into metaphysics. Because, when it comes to I guess, the explanation of reality, we're always looking at the external and the internal. And what kind of defines us more internally than memories? We literally build our values and our purposes and meanings off of what we remember out of our past. And there's some things that we hold dearly and other things that we might have, forgotten. And so when you really think about it, how much of your memory is accurate? How much of it really matters to you? Not only that, but does your memory shape who you are as a person? Before the ending of the last meeting, I posed a question. And it was, if there was someone who was to take your brain and put it into somebody else's body, would you still be you? And then why? Would that be your memories? Thus, does our memories make us us? I don't know. I'll leave us there. Who wants to start us off?
Okay, but before we start, remember that we have a chat. So that when we work out, we usually do exclamation mark. So if you have anything that you want to say, leave a comment with that exclamation mark so we can keep track of the order of the participants. I'm gonna try to be in check of everyone who is like making noise, so I can mute in case that is needed. And I know Yusha is the first one who wants to start, so let's get into it. Or not. I mean,
sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute. So
you have an apple.
Huh?
It was not you, don't worry. It's another guy. He's doing Duolingo. I'm guessing like in Spanish.
Apple.
Okay, I'm gonna try to mute him. There you go.
We're gonna have to mute people, guys. Sorry.
I mute him. There you go.
Cool.
And that's an interesting question you proposed, Orlando, because I've been thinking about it since it was brought up last week, and it's see, I can't find a definitive answer because in recent years, a complete brain transplant has not been successful with much results. So it's kind of difficult for me to say, but it is interesting to think about that. Would your memories be transferred with the brain, or would it be just another organ like a heart? Even with heart transplant, I've seen and read stories about people. They say that they still feel a connection to a complete stranger that was beloved by the person who donated the heart, kind of thing. So I wonder if it's the same thing with the brain and the memories that we carry. I read a research article, I think yesterday or Saturday it was, I can't remember, but it read that any and all memories that we think we have before the age of 7 uh, is is a figment of our imagination that we make by ourselves to kind of bridge the gaps, because our brain picks up patterns. It wants to fill in the gaps that exist because it doesn't like being in the unknown. So
Okay, I see.
so that's why that that was basically the what's it called, the essence of the research that I was reading.
All right. Yeah, that's a very interesting topic. I hope my memories of before 7 are still a little bit true to myself. Okay, but I'm gonna let Kaya go first. Yeah.
So off of what Yosha said from that article, I completely disagree with that idea. Um, and here's why. Children, even if they're below the age of 7, build memories just as much as anybody else. Sure, they are different from what an adult is, but things like trauma, um, you know, just pretty much as the statement, if you've ever seen the movie Inside Out, the core memories of a person, what builds them to become who they become in each step and segment. You don't just go from being a child to being an adult. You slowly build off of the memories that you start making and ones that you forget. When you're a kid, you don't want to ride a bike and you end up having anxiety because of that one time that you fell off the bike and got really hurt. So you never became an achiever for things. You were scared constantly. You know, that built into your adulthood. Things like memories, you can't just say that they are figments of imagination or how we perceive them, because yes, they are how we perceive them, because each person is unique in how they perceive things. One person can perceive a birthday party in a completely different way than somebody else who was also at that birthday party, but they still build into who that person is.
I see what you're trying to say. Um, well, I do want to touch in these bases. I believe that there are those memories who we have access to, and there are other memories that we, even though that we don't remember, we still get affected by them. Sometimes we do not understand why we are afraid of something that happened that we cannot remember, but it's kind of like our body does. And I don't know, I don't know if it is just. I'm gonna try to elaborate more into this. I at least this is something that it was taught to me due to my soccer and kung fu, that there is this thing that is called body memories. Like it's like just something that you don't necessarily remember with your mind, but your body remembers how to do.
Muscle memory.
Muscle memory. There you go. Thank you for the proper language. This is also something to consider, because sometimes, even though we do not remember something in a specific, we'll still react in a way that we cannot comprehend, but it's still out there. And it's still a memory, but it's just not a memory that we have access to, which it kind of tackles with what Orlando was trying to say, like whether or not our memories, if they're transferred to another body, will still react. It will still make us like, would it make us somebody different? I'm not completely sure, because I guess if we're just focusing on the memory that we have access to, then a part of you was left behind with your body. Because now you have to adjust yourself with a different physiognomy. Now your legs may be shorter or longer, so you have to adjust to a different way of behaving that it wasn't you. So I guess you will be different, but just because of the new experiences and memories that you will be building right off the gate.
Can you say something real quick? I know someone's next here.
Yes.
But I kind of just wanted to refer to what Yusha was saying. I mean, and kind of Kia, you kind of disagreed, but I think Yusha was kind of more referencing to like the scientific terms where we do often forget past memories. You know, that's kind of just something that happens over time, is your memories deteriorate because they're stored in your brain. And this, if you're not actively remembering something, you're prone to forget it, and that's something that's inescapable in a sense. So I think it's like, so how much of your memory can you really trust? How much of it is accurate? You know, when you're talking to someone, you're gonna be like, "Hey, remember that time this happened?" They're like, "No, that happened." Who's right? You tell me. You know, who remembered it better?
Spoiler
Who's
alert, none of them.
and the point
And if you
there is
take into
like
consideration
what kind of Yusha was
what
saying
you
there is that like that the whole idea of a figment is that it's only so far your brain can stretch back to. And although I do agree with you, Kaya, that essentially a lot of our memory essentially, or rather our experiences shape us, and that in a sense kind of our muscle memory, I think our exact memory is something that deteriorates regardless.
Okay. Let's head it up to Adrian, who's still on the
wait,
Wednesday meeting.
just one question. Just one question I'd like to propose is, would you, where would you rank memory disorders like Alzheimer's and stuff like that? So carrying forward, I would like to think and talk about that as well.
As
Okay.
in rank in terms of what?
Like we're talking about memories, right?
Mhm.
And with disorders like Alzheimer's, people tend to forget to the point where they don't even know who they are, and it's really tragic because I've firsthand experience with it for a friend's father that we've been taking care of. So, can you really trust something as susceptible as a memory?
Well,
Which way do you
I
We
would
should let
like,
we should
yeah,
let Jesus go real quick. I mean, Adrian,
yeah, that's gonna open a new trend, and we have like
yeah,
at least
Yeah,
you can go
time.
ahead,
I was
bro.
gonna. All I was gonna do was add to the muscle memory thing, because like you know how you said like there's certain things we can do, like I guess I like walk and all that kind of stuff. I would like to add as well, I guess, relationships to that, as in like like a mother or a father or siblings and kind of that sort of thing. So like it's like things, even though we're not like, we don't remember how we got there, but we just know it's there at that point. Like, so like the first time I guess you have like I guess some sort of consciousness, you just remember, oh, this is my mom, that's my dad, and all that kind of thing. So I guess yeah, even though we don't have, I guess people are just capable of, yeah, I guess in short, yeah, people are just capable of like remember, not even not like actively, but like passively remembering things that they don't have to, such as I guess you could just say like in a pattern sort of way. Um, that's all I'm gonna add for now at the moment.
Okay, thank you. And now, Raviro is yes.
Yes, you say my name right. Okay, so I hope I say this properly and I don't sound all jumbled up, but this is what I want to say. Um, so yes, we are our memories. And I was actually going to refer to something that you said, Ferdinando. Did I say that right? Okay, I was going to refer to something that you said about our body remembering experiences, because memories have to do, that's our recollection of experiences. So I think that our memories are too all encompassing for us to separate ourselves from them, even if we don't have the language, or even if we're not able to articulate a memory. It's stored in every fiber of our being. I'll give you a little example of a 2-year-old who's told maybe not to touch a hot stove. they may not be able to even tell you 10 years down the line that the first time I touched a hot stove, I got burnt and it hurt really, really bad, but it's stored in them. So even if you say to them, hey, come close to this hot stove, they may not be able to tell you, I don't want to because I got burnt and it hurt, but that memory, that muscle memory, that body memory, I don't know the correct language, is there, and it's there for, until it gets undone, until you get to know, I can handle a hot stove, I can protect myself. But we cannot actually, I don't believe we can actually separate that recollection of experiences, whether it's something we can say out, we're articulating it correctly, we even quote unquote remember, but it's already in us. So I do not think we can separate ourselves from our memories.
Okay, that's. Oh, I'm outside and the door is up. It's moving by itself. I don't know if it is the wind or somebody trying to go out. Okay.
So, Adrian, you're gonna go next here.
Yeah, I was gonna add to like that kind of this idea of like of certain actions being done to you. It kind of triggers this kind of like these these memories and such. And I was like, and like I want to bet everyone else has experience in which like they do something, as in like for me it was mostly watching YouTube videos that I've watched like years ago, and then I just all of a sudden remember like of something like I just watched, like of the action or whatever I did those years ago while watching that YouTube video, be it like I was like doing something significant or something insignificant. I guess I can't really say much, so I'm gonna leave it for now.
Okay. Can I make a quick distinction here? I don't think muscle memory and memory are the same thing. I think like the idea of muscle memory is more instinctual. It's more of a building of habits that your body essentially has become accustomed to, and it's kind of like a second instinct then. While memory is something that you can, like how I forgot her name, but she was saying that you're recalling experiences. So when you're reacting to something, it's a learned, it's a conditioned sort of instinct, but it's not necessarily you're recalling the experience. Your body's just used to it. So I don't think that's necessarily the same thing.
But you still remember it.
Is that necessarily a memory though? It's more just a habit.
I think we have Professor Manzi and then Russell. Marcus, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but Matthew can wait. No, just kidding. I just go ahead.
I am happy to wait to hear you finish this up. I would like to add to the discussion though. I do feel like on the one hand, there is a connection between, what we're calling muscle memory and, of course, maybe memory in a more cognitive sense. And I think that the connection is what you said, Orlando. I think it's this development of habits. Earlier, somebody was bringing up, I believe it was it Kaya, talking about patterns of experience, where you can begin. Oh, that was Yusha. I'm sorry. You can begin to recognize the way you are, your patterns of thought, your patterns of judgment, your patterns, your physical movement pattern. So I think memory, it might be more than just simply like a warehouse for previous experiences. Because here's something I really want to consider. And it already came up once, so I'm just bringing it back around. But I mean, how reliable is any memory? And here's what I want to say towards that, and then I'm going to hand it over to you. Because oftentimes you could go back and relive a memory and have a different experience. Now, obviously, I don't mean like time travel, but when you use your memory, you're taking the past and you're putting it in the present with context to the future. Because there's typically reasons why you will try to remember something in the first place, right? And then when you can't remember something, so all of these phenomena, I think they all kind of link together into what memory really is. And I wonder just how essential it is for any sort of sense of self, for any sort of personal identity formation. Okay,
Yes.
that's all.
And also,
Okay.
just quick statement. Sorry, I'll stop.
I'll go after you then.
But like, essentially, like with these memories, how much of them do we change for our own sake?
Yeah.
Like how much of them is like egotistical, and how is it that we remember it differently to benefit or to make myself look better? That's also something to remember. I'll stop there. Marcus.
No, that's good. But before I forget,
That's how America is with their history.
Fair enough. I agree.
I really like this conversation right now because
has anyone seen the movie 50 First Dates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Adam
Yes.
Sandler, the gem of a movie. Yes.
Good movie.
There's a
Yes.
character. There's a character in the movie that his name is 5 Second Tom, and his memory only lasts 5 seconds before it is completely reset. So he walks up to someone. He goes, "Hi, I'm Tom." They go, "Hi, I'm Marcus," and then he looks away, and then he looks back, and he goes, "Hi, I'm Tom," and that man has stopped. Like his sense of his being or his identity has stopped growing, you could say, because ever since that accident or whatever caused that the defect in the brain to go haywire like that, because the memory is the building blocks for change, etc. He's impossible to change. Almost he can change in those 5 seconds, but then immediately it's regressed again. So I think that concept is really weird. And then think about it from birth. Then, okay, imagine you're everything you have done since birth, which is your memories. And so that really is an essential identity. Like I think it's almost. I mean, your memories. I would go as far as to say that they're the focal point of your identity. Because how else are you to formulate anything if you don't know what you have done or are or have been, and then how are you supposed to know what you want to be or what you can be now if you don't even know what you were,
Yeah.
and so I think reflecting on what you were is obviously then very important. I think that can accelerate and encourage growth and change, and then it's a reflection. I don't know, someone tell me to shut up.
Shut up.
There you go.
They're going
Had to
pretty
ask,
quick
I
for
love
for the
that,
next
that, that
one.
was easy peasy. I can do it all day
It
long.
was one of those, man.
Okay, but this is the
Thanks.
deal, and this is something also that I want to consider, because every time that we think about memories, we think of the past, but sometimes we want to build up memories. So it's really like we do actions in the future based on what we want to remember one day.
Like taking pictures.
Yes, exactly. Like taking pictures. Or sometimes, like, what? I want to go up to that mountain so I can remember going to that mountain later when I'm old. Or I want to do this specific thing. I want to jump off of the helicopter so I can say that I live well whenever I'm old. So memories is not just about the past. It's also what we want to go into the future and do something very specific that we really want to connect as a version of ourselves that we're not there yet. So it's something that I do want that to be like at the very least in the conversation. So I will then pass. You know that I'm not gonna even T. I'm gonna say T. It's the easier one. He asked a question. We would then tackle that question in a little bit, but let's Kaya talk. Let's go.
All right.
Yusha, but it's okay.
Oh yeah, it
Oh,
is Yusuf.
was
So
it
let's let
Joseph
Yusuf go.
first?
Okay,
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
Yes. Uh,
Go
a
ahead,
lot
go
of
ahead.
a lot of text.
I've
Are
spoken
you
enough
sure?
for the day.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I've spoken enough
Okay.
for the day.
So in response to was it Russell? I believe.
Marcus.
Yep,
Yeah,
Marcus.
the shut up guy.
A lot of how we view memories, especially now, we use it in reference to things that we have seen. Like for example, 50 First Dates, or which was jarring for me, in a concept that somebody could forget something like that and never move forward, but still have the shell shock of that it happened and then totally forget about it. It brings the idea of ignorance is bliss, which
That
it
is a good
was
point.
for the most part.
Yeah.
But in reference to that, there is a video game out there. It's a big video game franchise, very popular. It's called Kingdom Hearts. Revolves
Oh, nice.
mega around the concept of memories and how they have relationships to people. Your memories of a person help you live on within them, but it lives on based off of how that person remembers you. So, a perfect example, some person might look at, I'm going to use you as a reference, Orlando. Somebody's going to look at Orlando and be like, he was a great guy. I really liked him. And somebody else is going to be like, well, Orlando was terrible and I did not like him at all.
Are you sure? Yeah, that last one is actually more accurate.
So
Yeah.
your memory, the memory of
That's
you
messed.
is completely distorted based off of how people made the decision to remember you through their own memories of you. So that begs the question, if we look at philosophers like Socrates and Locke, and we go, okay, cool, but how do we remember them? And like, how much of them is distorted based off of what was remembered? Look at the Bible. How much of the Bible is accurate based off of what we remember? Like, that's been rewritten hundreds of times. Like, we don't know. So, memory, just as a concept to relationships, is really, it's less about having people remember you. It's about remembering little bits about you, your essence, accurately, based off of their own memories and opinions through their own lives.
So well
That
said.
was a very good contribution. Yes. Thank you for coming before Yusha. Yeah, thank you so much.
Or Yusha.
I don't know.
Well,
Yusha, you want to go ahead?
I'm just gonna say two things. One, adorable dogs. Thank you for sharing. Two, building on top of what Kaya just said, and I'm glad she went ahead before me, which gave me a point to speak about. Yay. So it's what you're saying is a person in someone else's picturing things. A person becomes a person based on certain things that you just mentioned. But would you not consider the fact that a person could be a good person, but the instance that you or I would have met him or her, they would not have been having such a good day. So that would leave a different memory of them with me. For example, I meet Orlando for the first time, right? He was having a bad day. I'm sorry, I'm picking on you, Orlando. He was having a bad day, right? And he said something to me that I didn't like. So that's what's gonna be left of him with me, that oh, he's not a nice person, but in reality he might be the nicest person on the face of the earth.
Precisely.
Orlando, don't
Keep
not
going. I'm listening. I'm like not gonna say anything. I promise.
who's next, by the way?
Ravito.
I keep speaking out of turn.
All right, so just piggybacking off of that and deciding which memories to remember and what not to remember, it's gotten me thinking of Oliver Sacks' book, The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. And I am wondering about, neurological disorders, and if we need to differentiate people who have those, or are we saying disorders are part and parcel of memories, like we cannot run away from that there's going to be some form of inaccuracy in all our memories, like we cannot run away from that. That's just something that I am thinking about. What can we trust, what can we not trust, what's true, what's not? Are we all disordered somehow?
Somehow.
Especially memories about yourself.
Then comes to the question about majority, because I'm sorry, I'm moving my phone around a lot. Then it might come to like a majority kind of thing, what either most people remember or of what most you remember. For example, dressing up, right? I grew up going to private schools which required a uniform, and they had their own certain style of wearing the uniform. And now that I'm into professional world, that kind of became of what I've been through the most, and that's not now. That's just how I dress, regardless if I'm going at a casual function, at something super formal. Unless I stop myself from doing that thing, which begs the question: what uh, do you still rely on something as tangible as memory, where I remember to go into my living room, right, to get my phone. I go into the living room, I forget what I was there for. I keep trying to think about it for good 2 3 minutes, and it doesn't come to mind. And then as soon as I leave that situation, then it comes to mind, oh, I forgot my phone. So where where would that kind of selective memory be coming into, since we're on the topic of memory, not talking about disorders or anything, but I'm pretty sure it's something we've all been through.
Mm.
So,
Um. Okay. Well, go ahead since you're next, anyways. I did wanted to say
so
something in
Don't
regard of
interrupt
user
me,
source.
Ferdinando.
I just want to, yeah, I just want to add to that. Maybe the memories we do select is something just a result of who we are. I guess saying it's kind of a humanistic in nature. Like, for example, I guess if I also put it in simple terms, it could be what is significant to you. So, for example, if school's significant to you, I say you're more likely to have memories related to school. And let's just say you had like an old hobby, like I don't know, you were like into sewing, like some time ago. But nowadays you don't really do that. Thus, you don't really have much memories of that kind of activity. Thus, your memories in that particular field is not as strong compared to something you're more aligned to, such as just school. So in short, yeah, I'm trying to say maybe one factor at least is that things that you do remember, things that are relevant to you, and that's kind of and maybe that's just a function of the brain. Maybe the things that are relevant to you are just something you're more likely to remember. Maybe for like other things like things about you as in your character, maybe that is true. Maybe we are egotistical in such a way in which we do just want to remember the good parts about us, or maybe it could be taken back to like the white lie discussion we had. Maybe we do perfectly remember it, but we're just trying to actively make us like convince ourselves that it's not true, it never happened, and then thus, make disregard it as something as is significant. I'm never gonna pronounce that word. Kind of memory, and thus, sure, you remember perfectly, but you just don't. You just choose not to remember perfectly. That's pretty much it.
Good
All
point.
right.
So
I'm
I
gonna.
kind of just want to piggyback off of what you just said.
Oh my God. I
Yeah, I
can't
know.
speak at all. Oh my
Sorry,
goodness.
bro. Sorry. I've been waiting too.
There
I've
is
been
no
like, I'm not trying
platform.
to interrupt.
Nah.
If I let you interrupt, the next.
No, you do have an exclamation point, so you know what? You should go
No,
ahead.
you can go. You can go, Fernando. I have my point right here.
Right here,
Are
do
you
you have it
sure?
memorized?
Oh, the exclamation point.
It's
Okay.
probably just being adjusted. I do want to address, I guess, three things. One was in concept of Yusha. You mentioned something regarding like your experience of a private school and how does that prepare you for whenever you were in the professional setting. I believe that in that case, I mean, I also was a student from a private school, and how willing you are to continue that custom, I believe it will be, if since we're talking specifically memory, your memories of your situation with that private school. Like maybe for some people was like a very, very negative and uncomfortable experience to be wearing the same thing every day all the time, and you have like people drilling you like so then whenever they're free to just dress whenever they want, they prefer that than actually choosing a place where they have to go through the same thing. um when it comes to T, I'm just gonna keep mentioning as T. I'm not gonna try the name yet. You ask Orlando and I whether a short memory and a long memory are like the principal motive of success for a student. Honestly, I don't think just a memory would do, because for you to be able to be successful, not just in school, you require something more than just memory. because memory is just your capability of remembering, but there are other factors that you have to be taken into consideration, such as like how well you are able to like manage stress, time management, um, the social interaction that you have to have with professors. Like there is a lot of involved, and I don't think we can just narrow it down to like memory, whether it is short or long. And Jesus, or well, sorry, not Jesus, Adrian. You don't go by Jesus no more. I forgot what I was supposed to say about you. I will remember some eventually. I will remember.
See,
Priorities,
that's the
memories.
kind of behavior I was
No,
referring
let's not do that. Let's let
to.
Orlando
Tell
go right
yourself that
quick.
you have to remember something, but then you end up forgetting it regardless.
Hmm. I forgot.
Orlando, you had something up here?
I think so. I think it was right here. So I kind of wanted to say something you said, Yusha, which is interesting, and I kind of have a question then. It says like, are we our memories, or are we ourselves regardless of our memories? You know? So let's say kind of like Ferdinando, you trained in kung fu, you built muscle memory, you built up these habits. What if you had amnesia? And then all of a sudden, but you still remember, your body still remembers that kung fu training. You still remember, it still has those same instincts. It still has that same reaction. So in a sense, that is still there, but your memory isn't there. So maybe then there is a bit of a difference. Maybe essentially the habits that we form are there regardless of the memory. They're more there instantaneously with the moments. And so then maybe this perception of memory that we have, it's more of a value driven thing where we want, like how we were talking about earlier, how we want to remember it. Whether it's like I want to look down at myself and be like, man, that was an embarrassing moment, and it's actually you're remembering it more embarrassing than what it actually was, or a happier moment that it's more happy than what it actually was. And so
I
it's
remember.
it's sorry, Russell. Let me just and then also one more question is like, well then if that's the case, where are our memories stored? Because I know that there's a lot of memories that you have in your brain that you probably don't even care to remember, but there's some random thing that happens that just I don't know where it's there. And so it's like it seems as if there's these lingering memories in our brain that they're not activated until something activates them. And so it's like, well, dang, where are they? Is it in our mass? Are they all really all in our brain? You know,
I don't
interesting.
know. I did remember what I was saying. That I keep hearing that we tend to remember memories. Just to kind of like egotistically like brag about like how good we were, but very frequently people remember just to hurt themselves, because they want to feel sad, or because they feel like they messed up. And that's also, I don't want it to just be perceived as we only remember trying to cover up for our how well we did. Sometimes we remember things purposely the worst way possible, because somehow we feel like uh, we need to suffer for our action or something like that. But I know Kaya is next.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're pretty much discussing here at this point is selective memory. It is the memories that we actively make the decision somewhere in our brains to capture that moment and store it somewhere. Now, the reason why we do those things is usually because if you've ever seen the movie Inside Out, it becomes a quote core memory. It is something that has significance. You learn something and your brain understands it enough to store it somewhere. There are other times where you have a memory. I guarantee you, every single person has a memory in this room where they were sitting down somewhere, staring at a wall, and they're like, there's a face in that wall right there. It's just popcorn wall, but there's a face in there, and you remember it 30 years later, and you're like, yep, don't know why I have that. It's there though. That kind of stuff.
True.
It exists for I can't even begin to understand why it exists, but selective memory like that rolls into different types of conditions like PTSD, things that you actively push down. You especially like with little white lies that we were talking about, things that you push down and you hide away from and say that they didn't happen until you get into a situation that makes you actively have, as it's called, flashbacks, where you remember those situations in almost picture perfect clarity. It's those are pretty much situations where memories are selective to important life events or just things that help shape us as a person. That's why I think that memories have such a large meaning to our consciousness. They're not a whole of our consciousness and our minds and who we are. They're not our essence, but they do make part of what we are. They're a little, they're a piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
So Kaya, where would you put like dreams that we have and couple days or sometime later you're like, oh, I've seen this in a dream, kind of like a deja vu kind of deal? Where does that come in? Because it's a completely new and different place you've never been to physically, but you remember being there. Like, oh, I remember this so
Yep.
distinctly. Like,
I actually experienced that a lot. Like, it's actually kind of disturbing the amount of times that I've been in my kitchen and be just like, whoa, I've experienced this exact situation, this conversation with somebody before, almost like it was if it was a dream. And I think situations like that, especially with dreams, they're subconscious things that you have placed to memory, even if they're vague. They're things that are in the back of your head or things that you are capable of imagining off of what you've already created. So, an example is like whenever artists in this world, they base what they create off of things that they've seen, colors, all of this stuff is in reference to a collage of many different things in their life. So I think that's what dreams are. It's just a collage of things that are in your subconscious and kind of just happen to claw their way up to the surface whilst you were not exactly conscious.
All right. That's good. I mean, thank you so much for your collaboration. They said no, that's not the exact word, but thank you so much for your words. Contribution. Yes, thank you. Contribution. I do want to address a question that it was most directly toward Yusha and Jeff. T is asking whether if you remember things or just forget them. I'm not completely sure what the question is, but that's what he's asking. And also he's saying that what is your most vivid memory? Which for me is the present right now.
Well,
It's my most vivid memory.
There
But
you go. 10 seconds ago.
Well,
oh, please, Adrian, after you.
Sorry. You know what? You never get to talk. Go ahead. It's fine. I'll remember. It's easy. It's something easy to remember.
I just know I want to, before we address the question, I just want to make sure we understand what's being asked. I think what the question's getting at is, what do you think? It's kind of an interesting question. What happens more often? Do you remember things or do you forget things? And that's kind of funny because you don't know you're forgetting something until you're trying to remember it. So, but there's also this idea that, well, maybe remembering and forgetting are kind of the same phenomena, just looked at differently, if that makes sense. And maybe that has to do with the way memories operate as they rise up to the surface of our conscious awareness or sink back down into the depths.
Okay.
So, I mean, to answer the question, I imagine I forget more than I remember.
It's likely.
I feel like it can be a kind of statistical kind of thing. By the way, my most vivid memory is actually related to dreams. Basically, in some of my dreams, there's this concept called a pool town, right? In which there's like there's this one huge building, like about like 15 or so stories tall, and it's surrounded by like water tubes in which people can like go down and everything, and on top, and there's like a lot of like pool related stuff. It's kind of a dream concept, but yeah, so that's my most vivid memory, I guess you could say. It's a bit.
Wow, it's a memory of something that's gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, I should probably just do architecture, but yeah, I feel like but yeah, I guess do people usually remember things or usually forget things? So that's what?
I remember actually a quote. Just keep going. I will look at it. I don't want to mess up because the wording is very important.
I
Just
see. I see. You can only remember vividly, if you will. But But I feel like with people, well, if we were to think about what kind of memories we're talking about, maybe it's kind of a different answer to each of them. So like let's say forget things, as in like let's just go with like analytical, like concrete memories, such as oh, I can't pick up that mouse. I picked up this phone. Give me like 2 minutes, I'll forget it. Like maybe like those insignificant kind of things we'll end up tending to forget, which is like most of the things. So if you want to be kind of like in a straightforward kind of concrete way, we tend to forget everything we usually do. Forget like most of the actions we do and stuff. But if we're to be in a kind of an abstract kind of way, such as what we're like, I guess our like you could say our way of being or state, I guess. You could say that could be it could be a bit more permanent. I guess that would be a kind of like of our mood, saying how I felt, some time ago, or how or or I guess my opinion on a certain subject is in that kind of thing. Maybe that's kind of things we tend to remember more often. Um, so see.
I think so.
But then, yeah, I think it's all I'm gonna put for now.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna quickly answer the question that was directed towards me and Professor Manzi. I know Professor Manzi has answered already. I'm pretty sure that I forget things rather than remember, because personally speaking, I'm very target oriented. Even when I go into the store, I just get what I need and I come out. I'm not that's just who I am. I mean, so when picking out, my decisions are pretty final and pretty concrete. So I would rather forget things to make space for new ones, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Okay.
Maybe you could consider it a capacity for people, like saying, like, hey, like I said, it was like some like a relevance kind of thing. Like, at the moment, I already got my things. Let me just dump them out. So let me just go ahead and just do what's more important for me. Maybe like that, kind of like an order of importance to you is what you want to remember first. Or
Yeah, I think, but just building on that, I think that the memories that stick out to you can tell you something about yourself. Can tell you something about what it is that you do find to be most significant and meaningful. I mean, I think some of y'all are really, I think nailing it here. This idea that based upon sort of your, I guess, not so much who you are in entirety, but whatever it is that your projects or your tasks are, that's what has your focus. And so you're going to remember things that pertain to what it is that you're doing at the time. So when I pick up and play my bass guitar, I remember very clearly shows I played 12 years ago that I never probably would have remembered ever again if I didn't pick it up and have that tactile muscle memory. I think it all kind of works in tandem like that. But the other thing I want to throw out there, because we're running out of time, there was some talk about cross-referencing the memories, or somebody brings up a memory that you shared, but you remember it differently, and what's all that about? I wonder if that phenomenon doesn't leave us open or vulnerable to things like gaslighting or manipulation. If you can't place trust in your memory, isn't it very easy for somebody to just convince you that you're remembering it wrong? Isn't that dangerous? I mean,
Well,
isn't
actually,
that something?
you can I've seen it, and there, I think that there's studies there that you can convince people that what they're remembering is wrong and force memories into them.
I mean, it leads back to Orlando's question that are we our memories? Is that all that we are?
No, but can I share two quotes before it's too late? I mean, one is related to what Kaya was mentioning, and I guess the other one is kind of related to you, Yusha. One is says this. It's from Edgar Allan Poe. If you wish to forget anything on the spot, make a note that this thing is to be remembered. And the other one, this is from Stephen Wright. I'm not completely sure who this person is, but it's a little bit humoristic. Right now, I'm having amnesia and deja vu at the same time. I think I've forgotten this before.
That's actually very interesting, because that brings up a point that I was trying to bring up, but didn't know how to. It's about phantom pain. It's about amputees, and when they lose a limb, the pain they, I mean, their physical signs, their mental readings, their CAT scans, I mean, any test you can run, it shows that they're experiencing real pain in a limb that is not attached to them anymore. So how susceptible are we to our own memories and our own experiences? And this can be seen throughout war vets. I mean, throughout victims of tragic accidents. It's not something uncommon. You can literally find tons of research on it, and there's no proper explanation other than it's just in their memory. But they're experiencing real pain. Their brain lights up like a Christmas tree as if they were experiencing real pain. So what are we for not just our memories?
Well, let's see. I feel like that kind of like phantom pain thing is something maybe not as concrete. Maybe something is a bit like psychological or something, or I guess a bit memory related. Maybe we were just maybe the people who were who used to have those limbs no longer having those limbs. Maybe they were just so used to it they just like maybe like in their mind they would actually remember the feeling of like of what would they like if I was like to do this motion I probably like and like I no longer had this limb. I maybe the thing is like I still remember how it felt on my arm when I was to like like the air on my arm and everything. Maybe something along the lines of that of like that might be kind of like a phantom pain, like a remembering of something that is no longer there. But maybe the thing you should be maybe I want to be asking is why is it some kind of like comfort thing? Is it just because like they're used to it, instinctual? What could it be?
That's what I'm saying. If it's just their memory and they know in reality that their limb is no longer there, hence they cannot experience pain in that limb due to the fact it no longer exists. But it's their memory that's telling them that there's pain over here, go take care of it. And another experiment to kind of elaborate on that was done. I don't know, but I'll link it into the chat. They put a mirror, like a tall mirror, and they put your arm on one side and a fake arm that you're holding in your hand on the other.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy just comes up running and hammers the fake arm, and the person screams out in pain as if their hand is broken. And moments later, they realize, oh, what just happened? So is it just how powerful are a person's memory that even predicting something that might happen would introduce real pain to the said person?
Yes. And I guess this can introduce another topic that I will talk about later. But Kaya?
I think Adrian wanted to go first.
No.
You already spoke.
I use the exclamation point to make that other point about the memories thing. So Kai, go ahead.
Yes.
Oh,
He works that way.
I think the way that works, Joseph, is that
Joseph.
sorry about your name. I struggle with even basic names. I apologize greatly. I think that has everything less to do with memory and more to do with instinct and genetics. Now, one could argue that instincts is just a form of memory that we cannot access. Years and years and years of, evolution leading us to feel a certain way or react in a certain way. That could just be, I guess you could call it a form of memory. But for situations like that where you have like phantom limb syndrome, I think that has a lot to do with genetics, because even people who are born without limbs, who never had the limbs to begin with, who never had the chance to feel what those felt like, they experience phantom limb syndrome. I think that has less to do with remembering the sensation and more to do with the genetics of the people, of human beings, to prepare them to feel those kinds of things in the brain rather than where we feel it naturally in our arm. I think we confuse, oh, well, we have a sensation in our arm, and we forget that that arm leads to nerve endings, which leads to a nerve, which leads to the brain, which is genetically designed to do certain things, you know, some different than others, vastly different than others. So I think it's genetics.
Yeah.
But how is it the genetics? Genetics is not something that
Forget all
Maybe,
about
something
hey,
that
maybe when she says genetics, maybe she's referring. Maybe you could say another word. I mean, sorry, I'm like messing up your words, but maybe could you say it's also something like, I guess another way of saying like
I
instinctual in kind
think
of
what she's
way?
trying to say is more
Or
like we are naturally built to feel that way, I guess, something like
a
that.
person born without
Yeah,
a
I guess
certain
you could call that
or
instinct. I think
how would
that's,
they know what it feels like?
closer. I think instinct is a closer way of describing it, honestly.
Agreed.
But I
Agreed.
kind of want to ask something. It's gonna be a little bit off topic here, but I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm driving right now. So essentially, if some of our dreams are sort of based off of reality, a moment that's happened in time, and so if that's the case, and our memories are due to deteriorate, and they get further and further from reality, at one point, can we make a distinction between a memory and a dream? And and based off of that, like, how important are our memories really, if we kind of have been arguing that in reality they're not that much of us as we think they are?
But the thing is that a dream will always be a memory, right? Because you like whenever you're thinking of a dream, you're remembering that you had the dream. If you remember the dream, of course, isn't it?
But that's the point, though, is like, at what point is a memory a real actual event, and what point is it a dream?
Okay, I see your point. Yes, but
maybe
I did wanted to bring this up. I guess this is not for us to discuss right now. It's just to have it lingering. Like we keep talking about like how the mind can just react, but how much actual control do we have over our mind?
I
Because
want
we
to
keep
make that point, yeah.
saying that we keep talking about like we feel pain that it shouldn't be there, but like you should be able to also control to avoid having that pain, right? But if you can, then how really are we subjected to our mind, or do we actually have some type of full control over our mind? But I think that's something for it goes away from memory, but I would like to talk about that. um
Yeah, that could be a topic maybe for suggestion. What is the relationship between the mind and the body? Um, yeah, but I like the point because very similar to dreams. Sometimes you can't control your dreams; they just kind of happen to you. And you could say the same thing with memories. Sometimes memories just seize upon you, and you try hard to forget them. You're trying to push them out of your mind, and you can't.
yes, I want to introduce this. I'm not sure how many people are reading the chat. Jennifer mentioned this. According, if it could be Twain, but we're not supposed to be quoted since we're not completely sure. I've been through some terrible things in my life, and some of them actually happened. Which is
Yeah, that's a great
yes,
line.
that's a great line, and I do believe that it is something important to have into consideration because most of the time, and we have addressed it in one way or another. That was a late laugh, but it was a cute one. So whoever laughed, good stuff.
oh my
Um,
god.
oh my
It's
God.
funny that
No, no,
it's
no, no,
funny
no,
that's
no, no,
brought
no.
up.
I think I have something else to talk about when it comes to memories.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say that sometimes, like even in the present, let's assuming that it's not a memory, uh, we feel that moment in a way that it might be not the reality. Like for example, sometimes people may feel like, oh, maybe I'm not properly dressed. I'm looking like ugly. Maybe this person is thinking bad of me, and we're creating a memory of something that it might be not true. That it might be like maybe everybody's like staring at you like, oh my God, like that person, like those colors are really like good on this person, and just like, oh my God, I'm having this defect. Maybe like I didn't like shave properly. Like we create a scenario of something that it wasn't even happening. So
You know,
memory cannot even really tell what it was actually happening to begin with.
I think that's called anxiety.
it's funny.
Sometimes.
It's funny
But I
that you
mean,
bring up.
that's interesting. That's interesting, Ferdinando, because it's like what you were saying about earlier about controlling our bodies. So to some extent, can we control our memories then, if that's the case? And how does that affect us? You know, if we're a person that's more prone to being a positive, is it possible that literally all of our memories are to be looked at on a brighter side?
Well, actually, even when it comes to dreams, I can count. I have had only one nightmare in my entire life, and I have many dreams. And I know people who have nightmares all the time, all the time. And like that's like interesting. Maybe it's like I don't know exactly what it is because I'm not expert in that area. But there has to be some relation on how you perceive yourself, whether like positive or negatively. And maybe I think if you are able to change that part of you, you may be able to change the constant nightmares that you may have. But I know
It's really
Trisha wanted
curious
to say
because
something.
I don't remember having any dreams. I just go to sleep and wake up. That's about it. I honestly don't remember having any dreams. That was one point. And the other point was really interesting that you brought up about how much of ourselves do we control. Because if you look at it, we are not even a body. We're just a wrinkly mess soaking in whatever liquids we have in our skull. We're uh, just like mice controlling a robot or something. This is all that we exist. This is in here. Our existence is in our head, and asking so much of it, and coming to um God, I had a brain fart. Yes.
Okay. Oof.
Coming back to I know it's not it's not very pleasant. Um, it's really curious how we perceive ourselves as this indestructible kind of life form where a simple bunk to the head and you're done. You're just laying in a bed somewhere for the rest of your life. I mean, it's
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a nightmare tonight now.
So, yeah. I
Yeah.
just had.
Okay. I'm gonna read like from Beyonce. I don't know if I should say Beyonce because it could be misinterpreted. We don't have the actual Beyonce here. I'm gonna Talia. Yes, she's saying that some people experience on TikTok with the filter of a fire to have actual heat in their hands, even though it is not there. That's interesting.
Yeah, they say that with the television Yule logs. You know what I mean? You put the Yule log on your TV, and then some people be like, "Oh, I swear it feels warmer over here." Yeah, I've heard that too. It's odd.
Oh, that little fire thing. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's just my skepticism kicking in, but
Yeah.
I don't think so. I've seen
I'm
those. I've seen those. I've tried those, but it's
Maybe it's a placebo. Maybe you could just chalk it down to that.
could
Maybe.
be.
But
the
you know what?
placebo is another reason why we should explore the mind.
Oh my!
You know what? Hey,
we
hey,
think we're thinking we're supposed
hey,
to have, but we're not. But we're getting
hey.
better.
Okay, look.
But
Hey, you know
That
what?
one's juicy, Ferdinando. But let's
yeah,
Let's let
do
let's
it
that.
move
though.
on. Let's move on. Like we
Let's let
have
that Adrian kid talk. He has the exclamation
we,
point.
we have a
Nah,
movie
we're good. We don't need to
recommendation
hear
from
that.
Jordan.
Who's Adrian? I don't recall anyone being Adrian.
Yeah, I just see Adam Rickena. I don't see Adrian in there.
I see how it is.
Yeah, like we have a movie recommendation from Jordan, Vanilla Sky. At least I haven't seen it. It seems like it is related to what we're speaking right now.
That could be a good philosophy and film selection.
Yeah, that can be one.
It's a great, yeah, it's a great film. I mean, it's amazing. I've seen it like 10 times and you've got to really pay attention, but I've just been thinking of that movie the whole time I've been listening to you guys. It's really great. I suggest watching it for sure.
Yeah,
And
sometimes we host movie nights, so
oh,
movie
cool.
watch, so that can be one of the suggestions.
It's
Oh,
a film
awesome.
series. We call it.
All right, should we decide on a new topic? Should we?
Yeah, sure. We are 10 minutes over.
Did we get everybody in the chat? I want to make sure everybody got a chance to.
Yeah, I'm reading the comments.
If anyone wants to be heard, please speak up.
Okay, so I have exclamation point.
Talk now or hold your peace.
Hold your peace until the end of times.
This point of hypnotism is interesting. I mean, I don't like what is it? Like I've never understood what hypnotism.
So
Anyway,
I guess I'll never talk about how memories are opinionated. This is a rip.
you can
How
go ahead,
what?
Adrian.
How memories are opinionated.
Marriage are opinionated. Jesus.
Uh,
That's a
opi-
topic you're
uh,
gonna bring just when we're about to
memories. I
have
said
the
memories are
topic.
opinionated, but
Okay. 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 So
Okay,
yes.
back to hypnotism.
Sadly, we have to reduce the amount of time we have talk over. Soon enough, we're gonna be named counseling center.
we
Hey,
started.
it was an amazing presentation, but Jesus, they took like an hour and a half. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, anyways, we need to
She,
come up with topic for next week. So yes, I already put one in the basket. There's then the losing one that Mansi has to always give the losing one. And
how
then
real is our reality?
Wait a second.
wait a second.
That one's a big one.
You say here.
Can you guys hear me? I feel like I'm cutting out a lot.
You're
Is
good.
Orlando
Not at
saying
all. Yeah, I
something?
can hear you for sure. Yeah.
Is
Okay.
Orlando saying something? I'm.
Yeah, right. That guy Orlando, man. I have a topic suggestion. I was thinking maybe dreams and what they mean and how real they can be. Because you guys ever find it fascinating that at times, you have a dream of something that's going to happen and then in real life it happens? Have you guys ever had that experience before?
Many
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, Kai,
Yeah,
Kai
so I
and
think
I
yeah,
that's
talked
something
about it
interesting
earlier.
to talk about.
And also the living dreams whenever you know that you are dreaming, and you whether like go into panic or you just start creating like Inception style, like just kind of like going
maybe
bananas.
Can
you're.
we do Can
Hey
we do
guys.
dreams next? Since there is
Yes.
vivid dreaming, there's
Well,
lucid
it
dreaming,
is
and there's
it
a couple others
is
that
it
I'm
is
forgetting.
up to vote. We
Yeah,
cannot
it's a
decide.
You know what? We can
She
if it wins.
he's trying to put the dictatorship there, like oh yeah, we just like we just do dreams, like dreams one. Okay, so yes, that's dreams is one, mine is another one, and whichever Mansi suggests that we know is
That's
gonna
the
lose.
last one, of course.
I was going to suggest the mind-body relationship. How does the mind relate to the body?
I like that one.
Definitely.
Through
Definitely.
it relates through the CNS and the PNS, central nervous system, and the preliminary
Don't
nervous system.
don't there is
We don't
no
really need to
reason
go
there
there.
is no
Confusing
reason to
mind and
discuss about it.
brain.
Yeah, a difference between mind and brain, exactly.
Okay.
Uh, the mind is to mind a person's own business, and the brain is to think.
Never mind.
Never mind.
Okay. Fun and
Okay.
game decide. Let's decide. I'm voting dreams. Can someone put them as
Well,
numbers, please? Can someone list them?
I have to give me a
Yes,
second.
bro. Thank you,
So
Jennifer.
I think you
brain.
can make a poll using Teams.
Yeah, I know, but we have to give the chance to Yusha and T to expand the chat here and there, so they feel like it is fun. Dreams and body mind
Hey,
relation.
Ferdinando, I meant to ask you, can anybody go back and watch the presentations that we delivered today? Like if they join that channel or that team?
Yes,
I
we can.
was invited as a guest actually, so I don't know if I can go back.
Oh, okay. Okay, so anybody can join the Phi Theta Kappa team and see that, or?
Well, I have to give them access because
Okay.
I'm the one with the access there. But there is also this stream service here in Microsoft Teams that you can just go there and you can find it there. You don't have access to the actual Phi Theta Kappa channel. You can just watch it there as if it is YouTube. But we can facilitate that for the members for sure. And we're gonna be editing part of that so we can post it on YouTube and social media. So yeah, it's gonna be there.
Cool. Sounds good.
Okay, so I have three options here. The way it works is that we type the number, and the number with the most, like the one that get the most vote, sorry, wins. So it's right there. Oh Jesus, there you go. Boop. I posted it.
Uh,
Oh, Corey. Well, I will. You can send. I can give you access to Phi Theta Kappa since I'm the president there, so I can just put you in the team there.
Commercial break.
Oh, sorry, Orlando. It's not
Oh
looking good now.
no! Oh
So,
no! I
Ca-
can't believe it.
Catch your right. Oh my god.
Oh
Looks like
my
Mandy's
god!
gonna win again.
No!
Fernando's in
Mansi
shambles
always
right now.
loses. These new people. Oh my God! We're losing the tradition. What is it like? What is going to become of the philosophy club now? We will lose our roots. There is, yeah. My
We
God.
we might end up losing our own existence if we let Manzi.
We used to
But
be
his
so
topics are so
special.
nice.
Thank you.
You don't
Like,
realize
this
it's
topic was fun.
Yeah.
All he
You know
did
what?
was
I need.
piggybacking on my idea and
Hey,
adding
you know
body and
what?
boom. You see, that's
A
nasty.
more classical question. That'd be kind of a nice change of pace. A body and mind. I like that.
Does anyone know why this topic was fun?
I don't
This
remember.
one?
It was not
Good
picked by
memory.
Manzi.
Yeah, that's right. It was not picked by Mansi. Yeah,
I
that's true.
encourage this topic. I'm
I
getting half-
remember him bringing it up.
Thank
It
you.
was not
I
him.
think
It was
your
Orlando.
might be
You know
fading.
what? Like next meetup, like Freddie Nan's gonna be like, I don't remember ever talking about this.
Okay, but hey, guys, this is the deal. Like, it is a close call. The only thing is that T keeps spamming the chat, so we have to like be careful. Let's see. Can someone count the twos? So
Well,
and then say it first, so I can say one number less than the two.
there's only three.
4 twos.
No, four twos.
Yeah, I guess there's nothing to do here. The 3-1.
Yeah.
And I
You know,
even haven't voted yet.
we could
Haven't
just
even-
not show up. I mean, that is always an option.
There's
That
always
seems
an
like you
option.
missing out more than us.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. We're here to serve. We're here to serve. Even if there is a poor decision, we have no choice. We have to just continue. The show must go on.
We've already
Okay.
gone over mind and body this semester, or for my class. So, like, I'm super duper excited to see other people's opinions on it.
Kaya,
Well,
you have
nice.
unfair advantage. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, well, one of the biggest mistakes is people confuse brain and mind as the same thing.
Yeah.
That's the biggest mistake.
And
Damn,
then where
look
does
at
the
that.
soul come into play?
She already gave her one of the biggest strats. In
Yeah.
my head.
Not a strat. Shared knowledge isn't a strat, and there's no reason to keep it away from people either.
Ooh,
If
sass.
you keeping it away, you're trying to hack something.
No.
Sass. Sass.
Why be withhold?
You
That's a
fall
trap.
right into it, Adrian. You're right. Okay.
I you know what? I don't mind it.
Fernando, who was talking about the Mohawk? I think it was during our presentation, right? Daphne.
It was Daphne.
This
So
man,
yes. Okay.
makes
Like
So
Powerline
They said witness the
Goofy
greatest
movies.
Mohawk to have ever existed.
okay. Luckily, it's being recorded, so I can clip that and make a meme about it.
Perfect.
Okay. So next week's topic will be body-mind relation.
Yes, body, mind,
Yay! Yay!
Yay.
Woohoo. I can't be more excited. Yeah.
Does that relationship include intellect?
Mm.
I don't know. I asked the creator. We know
Well,
nothing about it.
How is intellect different than the body and the brain and the mind?
I think
Well,
intellect would be a body thing.
all
Basically
right.
how-
What's
Go
that?
ahead. Go ahead, Nancy. Go ahead.
I was gonna plug the social media again. Look out for Philosophy Friday or maybe Start Saturday. If you go on Instagram, you'll see a quote that just might relate to what we're gonna be talking about.
Cool.
A little inspiration.
We do quotes. We do memes.
I don't have Instagram, so I guess I'll just wait.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll wait.
Can you post?
you just
Can you
needs
post the
to
name
act.
of that again?
Huh?
Of
Can you
course.
post? Thank you.
Yes. Give me 1 second. I don't want to mess it up.
And yes, it's true. I don't have any social media.
Damn.
Wow.
Wow.
For you.
Nothing.
See, that's the third time I've heard people say that to me. It's why do people treat it like an addiction? When I tell them I don't have social media, they're like, "Oh wow, that's good for you." I
It
mean,
is
Because it
addicting.
is.
Yeah.
People, I feel like, because I mean, when you like get really into social media, you just end up spending like 2 or 3 hours social media each day. So like that's a lot of your time lost to like hitting up people. But then again, I mean, it's hitting
It's
up
not a
people.
good
So
thing.
I
It's
will
not. I mean,
say
it is a good thing, but it kind of is not.
I have noticed since I started this philosophy class that whenever I am responding to people on social media, a lot of it is before even responding, looking at what they've said and trying to figure out exactly what they mean and then asking more questions.
that's good.
It is like a disease that you cannot stop. And then people,
Yeah.
why you like
Yeah.
to argue so much? I'm not arguing. I'm just wondering what you're saying. You're arguing. Go
We're
straight to the
we're
point.
20
Like I'm
minutes over
going to
already.
it.
Y'all
That's
should watch
okay.
The Social Dilemma on Netflix. It's
I
very
did,
good.
I did, I did,
It
I
is
did, I
so
did, I did.
ugh
I
riveting.
What's
I
it
have
about?
Social media
The social
and the
social
pretty much the
dilemma.
bad things about it. I mean,
There are some
it's
good
not
things
it's
about
not
it.
there are definitely some good things. But oh man, I would just watch it. I can't explain it, and I've got to. It's just
Well, you
it's
can
great.
certainly try.
Yeah,
There's
maybe
always
one
a
day
way
we'll
to
have
do
a
so.
maybe one day we'll have a discussion about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We already know somebody who can be a good community chair for movie nights and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for
Okay.
coming, y'all.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for
Thank
coming
you.
to those who
that's
did,
nice.
Bye bye.
and we're looking forward to meeting you next week.
See
All right.
ya.
So long.
If it's
So long and thanks for all the
possible.
fish.
You don't have to leave, but we cannot stay.
Think about it. That used to be my tagline.
Think
Yeah,
Bringing
that
it,
was.
about it.
bringing it back.
I thought
Thank-
snack tax was your tagline.
Shh. I don't know what you're talking about. Cut the recording.
Okay, cutting recording.
Oh, no, wait, don't wait until it's like 1:30, like 30 exact. Don't
30
mess this
exact?
up. Yeah, it's almost 90 minutes. You just gotta make sure it's
Oh
perfect.
my god, you're making me wait 15 seconds.
20 seconds actually.
No, less than that.
15 seconds actually.
Have a good rest of your week, everyone.
Bye bye. Yeah,
I'm
5,
watching
4, 3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
I couldn't.